children, and it's just a wholesome, beautiful movie, and it's a breath of fresh air. Alright guys, and welcome back to Black Cinema and Black History. We are currently on, I think, episode 5, and this week we're talking about a movie called Just an Old Sweet Song. This is a Cicely Tyson movie, and I have been waiting to cover this because ever since Cicely Tyson passed, I have been waiting to get to this movie just so we could just remember her and how amazing she was. And it's amazing. And it's old. This movie came out in 1976 and holds up to this day in my personal opinion. So let's get to it. This movie was directed by Robert Ellis Miller, as long as the Shirley Temple storybook. We all know we grew up watching those Shirley Temple commercials where her little volumes was coming out, and like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, the Shirley Temple collection is coming out, and that's assuming you didn't see Shirley Temple stuff as it is. So that's who that is. Writing credits go to Melvin Van Peebles, who is also responsible for the movie Panther and the movie Grease Lightning. Writing credits also go to Jane Parker, who doesn't really have anything else under her belt, unfortunately. So in this movie, we see Cicely Tyson playing Priscilla, which is the wife. Her husband Nate is played by Robert Hooks. B. Richards plays Grandma. Lincoln Kilpatrick plays Joe. Priscilla's aunt Velvet is played by Minnie Gentry. Mr. Claypool is played by Edward Binns. Their son Junior is played by Kevin Hooks, and their daughter Helen played by Mary App. Emily Bell plays Mrs. Claypool. Philip Wendy plays the sheriff. Tia Rance plays Darlene. And Walt Guthrie plays Winston. That's the important characters of the movie. So Just an Old Sweet Song was actually the first of 3 pilot episodes, movies, for a series called Down Home. Down Home was a proposed TV series by Melvin Van Peebles. Just an Old Sweet Song is about a middle-class Detroit African-American family. After Priscilla learns that her mother is dying, her and her husband Nate pack up their 3 kids and head back south, a place they all said they would never go because they have a deep hatred for the South, which is why they stay up in the north in the city. After they move down there, they're introduced to a whole new world that none of them are used to or accustomed to, where they help out on her mother's farm with the chores, with the neighborhood, and overall they just learn more about what life is like in the South for Black people now, which is nothing like they thought. It's actually a lot more calm than up north, where everything's so hustle and bustle every 5 seconds. It takes them a while to adapt, and their youngest son goes to work for a white sharecropper for a little while, which they run and drag him out of there immediately after learning that 1, his former worker died because he was playing with a gun, and 2, that the sharecropper was in fact white, which they didn't know that at first. They do eventually let him go back to work for him, but only after they've accustomed to life and realized that it's not all bad. The oldest son has the hardest time, and he even runs away to go back home to Detroit. But eventually he adapts as well after their grandmother does sadly finally die of her illness. Priscilla is pressured to sell her family home after her mother's death, but she does eventually decide not to, and they all rediscover their African-American roots in the end of the movie. There they build a life with their new extended family. Just an Old Sweet Song was followed by 2 60-minute sequels in 1978, Kinfolks and Down Home. So this story's acting gets a 9. I'm bad at giving 10s because nothing's perfect, even though I want to call it perfect. And then the story gets a 9.5. It's a great story. It's a Black family living life. There's no over-the-top drama. Nothing goes wrong. You see how much Black love there is between Priscilla and her husband. You see how much love there is between the mother and the family and the parents and the children. And it's just a wholesome, beautiful movie. And it's a breath of fresh air. So we don't see people living the stereotype. We don't see horrible father and this over-the-top mother. They are a self-sustaining Black family, living in the time that they live in, dealing with whatever's happening in that time period. But that's just it. That's it. It's them living life. It's nothing different than what you'd see with a non-Black family. It's not stereotyped. that's not to mention the beautiful skin tones in this movie. So many dark, rich skin tones. It's a beautiful thing to see and shown in a positive light. So that has been this episode of Black Cinema and Black History. I've got one episode left, and that's going to be on a soldier story. Tune in next week. As usual, I will be linking where you can watch the movie below in the description. And there are plenty of movies I wasn't able to get to, so I'm probably going to do like this weird amalgamation video where I just kind of touch briefly for like 30 seconds on each movie I wanted to get to and didn't. I also wanted to do American Skin, which is a new movie that came out earlier this year, but I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet. So, also, I don't think I need to touch up on another super traumatic story. I think it's nice to stay where we are here. So, tune in next week for the last episode of Black Cinema and Black History. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because I've got a lot of other stuff coming after this month is over, and you won't want to miss it. So, that's it, and later.